I was born and brought up in Glasgow, but at the age of 15 I packed a little rucksack and hitched north on the A82, and this is where I ended up in the Highlands, and it changed my life forever. Now I'm on another journey across Scotland to take you to some of the places you've never been and may never go, some of the most beautiful parts of our landscape and some of the most interesting and fascinating people I can come across. I want to unearth the legends and the stories that helped shape this land, and are continuing to shape it. Come with me. So today I'm heading north over the bleak and beautiful landscape of the Great Moor of Rannoch. There I'm going to stop off for a while in a very special graveyard in the shadow of the Blackwater Reservoir. I will spend some time talking to Bob, a fisherman of Kinlochleven, and eventually end the day listening to traditional music in Onich on the shores of Loch Linnhe. We're now a month into winter, and the land and the wildlife have gone into hibernation, and so have the people. It's stunningly beautiful, and it's been an inspiration for centuries for poets and writers and storytellers. Now, before you head off into the hills, you've got to be prepared. So I'm going to follow in the footsteps of Coleridge, Wordsworth and Dickens by having a hearty breakfast in the Inverorin Hotel. There's been a hotel at Inverorin for over 300 years. And in summer it's become an institution to walkers of the West Highland Way. But I want to find out how some of the most hospitable people you'll ever meet survive the long winter months in this most unhospitable of climates. You two play host to about 4,000 travellers every summer. And that's a huge concentration of people, and you must be hell of a busy. And then suddenly, bang, come October, season stops. Mm-hmm. Complete contrast.
Yeah, complete contrast.
How does that feel? How do you cope with it?
Well, I always think when it comes to the rutting season kind of marks the end of my working year. So
and that's August, September?
September, yeah. And when I hear the first stag roar, I think, oh yeah, this is it. And we look forward so much just to that last day when we lock up and we strip all the beds and make the place just about ready just to go to sleep.
It's very sad.
You hunker down for hibernation.
Yes, and we effectively we do hibernate. That's what we do.
Does that sense of isolation in the winter bring you closer together as a community?
Yes, it does.
The people that live in the estate know how busy we are in summer, and they tend not to bother us. In the winter months, you know, you have more opportunities to socially meet with the people that you live with. You've always got a couple of kegs of lager, cider, Guinness that are going to go out of date. So
we'll have a free beer night.
But beer for the locals isn't the only thing Gavin and Elaine distribute free during the winter months. They've also become surrogate parents for a herd of wild deer. They come into their garden every morning looking for breakfast. Pretty good set of antlers for a 4-year-old, isn't he?
He's a lovely beast.
He'll be magnificent when he grows up.
Yes, he will.
He's just a pesky teenager at the moment.
He's just a teenager, yeah.
The stillness, the way they stop and all. Ah, the beautiful panorama of the Moor of Rannoch. After that hearty breakfast with Elaine and Gavin, I skirted the western shore of the very pretty Loch Tulla and picked up the old drove road. It's been used for centuries to ship cattle from the north to the south to market. And I'm heading over to the north edge of the Great Moor of Rannoch. And I'm going to meet a man whose photographs of the landscape of Scotland adorn thousands and thousands of living rooms and bedrooms around the world. Colin Pryor. And here's the man himself, already set up. Hello, Colin, how are you?
Pleasure.
Lovely to see you.
What a great morning.
I see you're already set up.
I mean, this is a classic view, the Buccleuch Moor here. And at this time of the year, on a good day, the light should rise right into the eastern sky here and it illuminates that full face
It should be hitting full on
of the Buccleuch. But I'm afraid this morning it's not going to happen.
So does your work change dramatically? I mean, obviously there's some summer to winter.
October, November are probably the two optimum months when the colours have withered down into the colours that we have here. At this time of the year, you've got this lovely deer grass, as it's known locally, and it's just a fantastic colour.
Are there there are obviously particular physical challenges?
Yeah, I think it's essential that you spend as much time as possible in the landscape. I do like solitude. I sort of feed off that experience, and I actually like to be in the landscape alone because I find I connect more readily.
It's meditative.
It is. Photography is a form of meditation, and I can go onto a moorland or a beach and 3 hours can be gone like that. And I'm essentially hunting. I'm looking for an image.
Now, if I was taking a shot of the Buccleuch, what would be the key pointers you would give me? I mean, I'm just a point and snap guy.
Well, so am I.
Yeah, no, but you make a living out of it. You do it far better than most people on the planet.
But I think one of the big mistakes that photographers make is they try and get too much in. What I say to people is, if you think about your single favourite photograph of all time, you'll find that it's a very, very simple proposition. And in photography, less is always more. It needs to be a simple proposition.
Buccleuch's changing.
Well, the cloud base is down today, and that's really what inhibits great photographs of mountains. And of course, if we had these swathes of cloud and the peak coming through, that would make a tremendous image. And even better, if we had just a sort of flash of light on the summit.
Yes,
what
with
an
a
image.
touch of snow. Right, Colin, it has been an absolute joy, sir.
Likewise.
It really, really has.
Great to have met you, particularly in one of my favourite spots.
Well, one of mine too. Listen, take care of yourself.
All the best. Bye-bye.
This is Glencoe. 500 million years in the making, 6,000 years of human presence, 8 Munros. Nowadays it has 1 million visitors a year, 200,000 hill walkers and climbers, and it's a magnificent testament to the grandeur of Scottish landscape. I first came here as a 15-year-old boy, and it literally blew my mind and changed my life. When Charles Dickens came here, he described it as the burial place of a race of giants. Beautifully described. I'm about to visit a real graveyard of real men who died while trying to create a man-made giant.
New Horizons, Haymans Way, sponsored by myhotelbreak.com.
Take off for New York with Expedia. You can book your flight, hotel, car hire, and activities all in one place. Everything you need to go. Expedia, Atoll protected.
Seems word sure has spread far and wide. Red Bull gives you wings.
Right, we've got a lot in store for you today. Here's prices that take you back.
Do you remember when it first started? 3, 2, bring it in, here we go.
Prices that take you back. Celebrating 100 years of great value this month at Tesco.
Words. You need to watch out for them. Take broadband contracts. So often it's prices might change during contract. Might, chances are they will. Not at TalkTalk. We promise no broadband price rises mid-contract. Our fixed price broadband plans stay fixed. The same great price for faster fibre for 18 months. So you can stream fast, game fast, and of course check the weather fast. Search TalkTalk Fibre. TalkTalk. Fairer broadband for everyone.
And there we have it. Solid at the back, strong in midfield, terrific up front.
Prices that take you back. Celebrating 100 years of great value this month at Tesco. New Horizons. Haymans Way, sponsored by myhotelbreak.com.
Having tramped across Rannoch Moor, through Glencoe and then up and over the Devil's Staircase, I ascended the 500 metres to the Blackwater Dam. I'm high in the hills above the town of Kinlochleven, in this mountainous, inaccessible plateau, and I'm standing on the Blackwater Dam. Now this was built between 1903 and 1909 by squads of navvies, or should I say navigational engineers, 3,000 of them, who came from all over. And it's an extraordinary piece of civil engineering. It's almost a kilometre long, it's 90 feet high, and they created one large reservoir out of 3 lochs. And this reservoir is 9 miles long. Now I'm going down there to a very special little graveyard where we will see the human cost of the building of something like this. Come with me. I'm standing here in this small, poignant and rather beautiful graveyard, and in here lie the remains of the men and one woman, Mrs. Riley, who died while constructing that giant of a dam. And if you can imagine the winter conditions in an exposed mountaintop area like this, must have been extremely brutal. And one Irish navvy, Patrick McGill, wrote in his biography, The Children of the Dead End, that night Maloney was handed his lying time and told to slide. He padded from Kinlochleven in the darkness, and I have never seen him since then. He must have died on the journey. No man could cross those mountains in the darkness of midwinter and in the teeth of a snowstorm. We were men despised when we were most useful, rejected when we were not needed, and forgotten when our troubles weighed upon us heavily. Now, one person who's kept the social history of this civil engineering endeavour alive is local historian Avril Watt, and she's come to meet me. Avril, hello, thank you for coming to meet me, because I hear you're full of wonderful stories about the building of this great dam. Tell me about those that built it.
There was criminals that were hiding from the police, there was lawyers, there was doctors, people who had fallen in hard times, and they needed the money. A lot of them didn't have homes, so they decided that they would follow all the hydro schemes. That's where you got the money. But the gangers were quite cruel. They worked the men really hard, because the more they worked, the more money the ganger got. Now, there's a grave here, and it's just got unknown. Now, there was a man that arrived at the dam, and he was sitting in his hut when one of the bogies came off the railway and shot the rails right through the hut. He was killed instantly. Nobody knew who he was because he hadn't registered, so he had no name. So whether that's his grave or not, I don't know, but there were so many like that. There was a story where a criminal was running from the police. So they decided that they would come up and search along the dam to see if they could find him. They didn't find him, but they searched the moor. They found him, but they found 3 other nameless bodies. And that's what makes this so real. Those people had nobody. And I've got a little poem.
Written by whom?
Now, we don't know who wrote this, but this was printed in the very first newspaper that Kinlochleven had in 1906, and I have a copy of it. The sweat was wet on his steaming loins and shoulders bent and scarred, and he dropped to earth like a spaved mule that's stuck in the knacker's yard. Bury him deep in the red muck and pile the clay on his breast, for all he needs for his years of toil are years of unbroken rest.
God, that's a very powerful
Isn't it?
poem.
It's beautiful.
Thank you very much, Arlo. Beneath the reservoir sits the village of Kinlochleven, which is where an aluminium smelter was built, powered by the electricity generated by the dam. Now, the smelter's no longer here, but the power generated still fuels the local economy today. Come and see. The site of the old smelter is now a state-of-the-art climbing centre and boasts the largest indoor ice wall in the world. And I'm going to meet local entrepreneur Jamie Smith, the man responsible for making it happen. Jamie.
Davey, how you doing?
I'm grand.
Great to see you.
Now, there is just about everything a climber could want inside this former industrial space, including a vast, sheer wall of ice. Tell me the story of this place. How did it start?
Well, I was in the RAF Mountaineering Association at the time, and I was actually up in the Moors there, and I came down one winter's evening, and Kinlochleven was this strange little enclave village at the end of the glen. And I saw this building for the first time in the dusk, and I thought, what a place. And I'd been looking for some time to develop a climbing centre in Lochaber, because, you know, it is wet here. There's very few places that have got this kind of scale and height. And I walked in here and looked up and up and up. I just couldn't believe it. It was huge. So I guess that would have been about 1996. And I walked in to see the bank and said, look, I found this building. I think it would make an amazing climbing facility. I think it will cost about £3.5 million to convert it. And they just looked at me like I was nuts.
That's great. You must be really proud of what you've achieved.
It's been an epic journey, I have to say.
So, are you going to take me up an ice wall?
Yes, let's have a go.
So, what's the temperature in there?
It's about -8.
Ah! Adorable. Walking into a fridge.
Davey, you're breaking it. Get your feet nice and horizontally level so you get a nice base. So you're nice and balanced. Now, as high as you can with that axe without going on your tiptoes. Perfect. See how easy that is? Feel okay?
Mm-hmm.
Good. A nice wide stance though, like you're standing in the pub. Good. Perfect. Okay, remember, try and keep your feet perpendicular to the ice. Well done. Magic. That was really excellent. Well done.
Thank you. Well, I've got the best of instructors. Now, the ice factory is not the only thriving business around Lochleven. Another one is the Lochleven Seafood Cafe, where they prepare and serve everything. But they also, every year, ship tons of seafood all across the world. But first, they've got to catch it. And I'm here to talk to Bob Hamilton, who's out there bringing in his creels. Born and bred in Kinlochleven, Bob has fished the waters of the loch for over 40 years. Hello! How many days a year are you out there?
Go out every day, and I should be retired, but I like to get out the house, and that's why I come fishing.
I don't blame you.
Well, look at the scenery.
Oh, I know.
Look at my office.
It's the best working environment I can think of, Bob. Are there any extremes of weather that stop you going out?
Not really. This is very sheltered. This is my winter fishing. Sometimes this loch here freezes over.
How thick can the ice get in this loch?
Oh, not thick, not thick. It will maybe last 1 or 2 days. You don't need an icebreaker. You need an old boat like that that doesn't matter about the finish on.
Well, you still got a fair ton of speed.
Yes, when I come through the Narrows, I keep up with the tourist buses, and I have a wee wave to all the old ladies, aye. Okay, it shortens their day and it shortens mine, so.
So tell me, we keep being told we've overfished the seas, Bob, certainly in terms of whitefish. You know, the cod and the haddock are disappearing. What's it like for shellfish? Is it still plentiful?
No. When I started here, the fishing was wonderful. It was impossible not to get a stone of prawns per string of creels. A stone. And nowadays, well, I come in with, about a third of that.
So, are you going to show me your catch and we're going to take it into the cafe and have it cooked?
I'll do that. Delighted, delighted. These are smalls.
My catch is not as big as yours.
I would like your day's work.
Hello, David.
Hi,
You've got the prawns there.
They look quite tasty.
Lovely. All live and cooking. Fantastic.
What else have you got there?
We've got a bit of everything today. We're going to be making up one of our shellfish platters for two, our classic signature dish here at the Seafood Cafe. We've got some mussels, which I've just cooked off, and a little bit of wine there. Lochleven mussels from just down the road. Razor clams.
You know, I've never eaten a razor clam in my life.
Maybe today will be your first time.
My first one.
Give them a go. And these are also fairly unusual, but we do get a lot of them fished here on the west coast. Palourds, a type of clam called palourds. Again, they're really meaty and tasty.
I wonder what, so they're just big clams?
Yeah, they're just big clams, exactly. Great for doing chowders and things. Lovely raw, actually. And then we've got some lobster and crab, and we'll get you a couple of oysters. And that's us, all nice and simple. Oh. We've got a little bit of seaweed from just down on the shore there. I collected this afternoon and it's cooked. That's just, as I say, it just holds the platter together. We've got a nice lobster here, which we'll just plonk on the middle on the top. With the crab, we've already taken out all the bits that we don't eat. Have you ever had an oyster?
I love oysters.
Yeah?
I've nicked the mussel, they're delicious.
Chop it in half. Keep it nice and simple.
That is some platter. Look at that. Well, I don't know what you lot are going to eat, but I've certainly got plenty. Delicious, fresh Scottish seafood. You can't beat it. I could stay there for longer, but I can't. I've got an invite to go to the Onyx Hotel just down the road where they're having a music session of traditional music tonight. And I cannot think of a better way to end a day on the hills than with a glass of malt whisky listening to some great music. A day in the Highlands, an evening in front of a log fire with a pot of homemade venison stew, a wee dram and some fine music. The end of a perfect day.